Happy Thursday, Boalia Desmond here. Thank you for tuning in. I titled my message today, How to Create the Life You Desire. Today's message was inspired by the new challenge that we started with Tony Robbins called the New World, New You Challenge. So if you want to be a part of that challenge, send me a message and I'll be happy to give you the information so you too can be a part of it. It's 5 days, it's free, and I believe it's going to add so much value to you. So today's message, he spoke a lot about energy, and he talked a lot about our emotional state. So he said everything in your external world exists because it started in your internal world. So when you think about the life that you're living right now, it started somewhere, right? It started with what was happening to you internally, and then you started to put some energy towards that and those internal feelings that you were feeling, right? And then from that, you created the world that you're in. Because as Earl Nightingale says in The Stranger's Secret, he says, we become what we think about. So what are you thinking about? Always ask yourself, what are my most dominant thoughts? Like, what is it that you spend the most of your time thinking? Because what we focus on, that's where you're putting all your energy. Okay. And then he talked about the quality of your life is the quality of your emotions. The quality of your life is the quality of your emotions. So ask yourself, really take some time to examine where am I? What am I feeling? What am I focusing my thoughts on? So how do you change your life? How do you create the life that you desire? Number one, you've got to have a desire. You've got to know, first of all, you got to know where you are. And what are your pain points? What are the things that you want to change? What do you have desires for? And that's why we stress so much about having some goals of things that you want to accomplish. Do you actually have two things that you want to accomplish this year? What are the two things that you can think of that you say, by the end of the year, I'd like to see this happen. I'd like to have this done, right? So maybe it's in your finances, right? Maybe you want to have more money. Maybe you have a certain number that you want to reach at the end of this year to have in your bank account. Or maybe you want to make a certain amount of money in your business. How do you want to move your business forward? And then maybe relationships. Do you want to have a better marriage? Do you want to have a better relationship with your children? What is it that you desire, that you want to see happen towards the end of the year? So number one, you have to have a desire, and then you have to ask yourself, what is the story that I believe about the thing that I want to change? So if it's your finances, ask yourself, what do you believe about money? Do you have a story that you're stuck on that you need to change? Because you need a new story. Okay, what is it that you believe about money? Do you believe you should have money? Do you believe that you don't deserve money? What do you cringe every time every time you hear people increasing their wealth and it's not you? Or do you self-sabotage because you're afraid of having a lot of money? What is it that you believe? Relationships. Maybe you grew up in a home that was completely, that had abuse, that you were neglected, or maybe you were just you dealt with people putting you down constantly. Maybe you dealt with bullying. What is it that you dealt with? What is the story that you have believed that needs to be changed now? And then what else could you have for business? Do you self-sabotage? Do you believe that you are not worthy of success? Or how do you define success? What have you believed about success? What are the things that would hold you back from getting forward and accomplishing these goals that you're setting for yourself? You need a new story. And then thinking about changing your emotional state, and changing your physical state. In this challenge today, Tony had us do a lot of things that we were moving around, and just to create that energy. And as we moved around, as we did these exercises, it was exciting and interesting to see how we changed from the inside out. The energy level was just incredible, and you could start to think clearly, and you started to believe that you were going to change your mind about some things. Just incredible. So I think movement is so essential. And then you need to ask yourself, okay, so now that I know my desire, I'm going to change my story because I believe that I can do it. Ask yourself now, what is the strategy that you need to get you to where you want to go? What strategy do you need? What do you need to do every single week? What do you need to do every single month? And then what does that look like at the end of the year? How are you going to get there? And asking for help. Maybe are you going to need to hire a coach? Are you going to need to seek advice from someone? What's it going to take for you to get there? But keeping in mind that yes, you need a new story, but understanding that your emotional state is critical. Because what you're going to focus on is what you're going to create at the end of the year. So I thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow is Celebration Friday. So make sure that you have something that we're going to celebrate you about, and do something physical. Do a dance. Do something that's going to remind you that you are worthy of celebrating. So thanks for tuning in.